They underestimate the process of opening an account, first of all, because if you mess up opening your account, it's something that literally takes 10 minutes. But if you mess it up, it's a limbo of 5-6 months down the road and you still don't have your account opened. So you need to be very punctual when providing the documents and the information that Amazon is requesting for you. It sounds stupid, but it's just really be careful. Overall, again, underestimation of the platform. They think that when they're coming from an e-com background, they are going to understand Amazon fairly quick. I mean, this couldn't be further from the truth. Amazon is a beast of its own. It's very different than other platforms. It's very clunky. It's very slow. Many things don't make sense. So you need to be familiar with Amazon and you need to know the game to play it, basically.
Welcome to the Ecommerce Marketing Podcast, the highly rated digital marketing podcast that provides weekly digital marketing tips and strategies from some of the world's top digital marketers and e-commerce entrepreneurs that will help you take your digital marketing to the next level. Sit back and enjoy this power-packed episode hosted by Arlen Robinson, who is an e-commerce entrepreneur and digital marketing expert with over 20 years of experience. Hey, e-commerce marketing podcast listener. Are you looking to increase traffic and sales to your website? You can do this by launching your own affiliate program. Just visit getosi.com and sign up for a free trial today. That's getosi.com. Now get ready to hear from your e-commerce marketing expert of the week as they drill down to give you details on marketing strategies that can help grow your business.
Welcome back to the E-commerce Marketing Podcast, everyone. Today we have a very special guest, Hristo Arakliev, who is the co-founder and COO of Hyperzon, which is a top-tier Amazon marketing agency based in Europe that helps brands worldwide double their current revenue by utilizing Amazon as a sales channel. Welcome to the podcast, Hristo.
Hi, Arlen. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and thank you for joining us. I'm really excited to talk to you. I love talking about Amazon, all things Amazon, because I'm on the other side of it. I'm a huge Amazon consumer, and I've actually been a Prime member for a long time. Before Amazon really exploded, I was a Prime member. I want to say it's been almost over 15 years, I think I've been a Prime member. Almost since the very beginning. I don't know how long the Prime program has been in place, but I think it was there early on.
Wow.
And it's definitely something that saved me a lot of time.
You're there almost as long as Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, exactly. I should own stock in Amazon at this point, but it is what it is. You never know. Maybe I'll decide to put some money that way. But thank you for coming on and joining us. Super excited to talk to you. We're, of course, going to be talking about Amazon and specifically, how, D2C brands can be successful on Amazon, what's working right now, what's not working. If a brand is currently just D2C off of their own website, what are some strategies to be successful on Amazon to further their reach, to expand their customer base, and, of course, to expand their revenue. So we're going to be talking about those types of things. But before we do get into all of that, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into doing what you're doing today?
Sure, absolutely. So I got myself into e-com 8 years ago, and I started exploring different parts of it, like Facebook advertising, Google advertising. At the time, there was no TikTok. But basically, I saw all parts of the e-com and dabbled into it. And at some point, an opportunity came out. A friend of mine was selling on Amazon, and he was like, "Hey, you know what? I'm making very good money on Amazon." And I was like, I got really interested. So I was like, okay, let's look into it. So I started learning more and listening to podcasts and reading, etc. And together with him, we created our first agency. So he had the knowledge about selling products, and I had some previous knowledge about agencies. So we started we started and we wanted to promote it initially to Eastern European countries,
Okay.
but over time we split up with that partner. I found some new partners with more experience and started selling products on our own. And basically, at some point, we positioned ourselves really well for the US audience. And long story short, right now I have a team of 45 people. 90% of our clients are from the US. We have also clients in Europe, Canada, Australia, and other English speaking countries, but we focus mainly on the US. And we also help them expand to Europe if they want to, because for many brands, it seems to be an obstacle and they find it difficult. But, if you've been there once, it's not that difficult to come to Europe as well.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, that's how I got into Amazon, and it's been 7 years already. And I'm here for the long game. It's definitely been an interesting journey, and I've enjoyed it all the way through. And
Okay.
Amazon has so many nuances. You can learn something every day. Like literally, there's something that surprises me and comes up, and they're like these subtle changes. I wouldn't say they're like major changes on the platform very often, but still, that subtlety can bring you a lot of revenue.
Mhm. Okay. Good stuff. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm glad you mentioned that and ended on that as far as the subtleties, because I think these days, even with D2C brands and just me with what I know about marketing and e-commerce brands, a lot of times brand owners and founders are thinking about the big things. What are some things that we can do, whether it's a major overhaul of the website, whether it's updating the content as a whole on their website, whether it's revamping their entire marketing strategies. A lot of times it doesn't necessarily take these big shifts to move the needle,
Absolutely.
even a significant amount. And yeah, that's one of the things that I've noticed over the years. Um, Now, as far as D2C brands are concerned, what would you say are some key strategies that they should adopt, or that you've seen brands adopt in order to be successful on Amazon today?
As CPC is getting more and more expensive, a lot of brands look at the total
Yes.
ROAS of the Amazon account or the lifetime value of the customer. And you
Yeah.
can actually enroll your product in the subscribe and save with 10% seller funded discount and create a can't miss subscribe and save coupon for the first order. Something in the range of 20-30%, let's say. This will make the product much more appealing for the client to just test it out. And if they like it,
Hmm.
they'll stay subscribed. So
Hmm.
basically that was not possible before. So the cool
Yes.
thing is right now you can give them a discount just for the first order now and then charge them regularly, which you still provide discount for subscribe and save, but not
Right.
as big as the first order. So this will make the product much more appealing for the client to just test it. And we have accounts with more than 10,000 subscribers at this point, and this strategy works
Okay.
extremely well for products that you need to purchase every 2-3 months.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
that's a good stuff. That's a big number for a client of yours to have 10,000 subscribers,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's huge. And like I said, it like you were saying, it hasn't been around that long. The subscribe and save. If I The question that I have with regards to that, the subscribe option, because I see it more and more with brands. And like I said before we started recording, I'm on Amazon probably almost every day looking for something that I have to buy or to replenish. And one of the things that I'm curious about is, or do you have any particular stats on when people subscribe? What's typical as far as like how long people? I know, of course, it's going to vary depending on brands, but do you have any numbers on once they subscribe? How long is a typical subscriber going to stay subscribed? Or any
honestly,
numbers on that?
really depends from product to product, depending on how much they actually need a product, or it's just a nice to
Right.
have thing, or maybe they don't use it as much. But honestly, for products that people are buying one way or another, like
Yeah.
I don't know, dog treats or some supplements you've been drinking for years now, or some cosmetic as a female that you've been using for years. Basically,
Yes.
people stay subscribed for a very long time, to be honest. I mean,
Okay.
like years.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it works pretty well. You know how it is. People sometimes forget that they're subscribed. So
That's true.
they
That's
just
very true.
honestly, we had one client. He had a seasonal product. It
Okay.
was this topical, like you put in your body for suntanning
Hmm.
oil, basically. And it's a very seasonal product. We used to sell it like 5 months out of the year, and people uh, like 70% of the people never unsubscribed during the other months. So I don't know
Hmm.
what they were stocking for, but imagine in the winter time they were having tons of tan oil at home. So
Right.
even for a product like that, people still stayed subscribed.
Okay.
So
That's interesting.
honestly, as long as you get them subscribed, they're going to stay subscribed for the most part.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I get that. And yeah, like you said, a lot of times people will stay subscribed and they may be accumulating a particular product and they figure like, okay, they're already subscribed. They're going to use it at some point, especially if it's something that, they know they're going to use one way or another. A lot of times I see it useful for the typical, um, let's say laundry detergents, something you've got to wash clothes, or something you use consistently. General types of grocery cleaning items. Those are things I see that it makes sense. And then even the personal hygiene type products, the deodorants, the soap, all of that, where, especially if you've got a brand that, usually when it comes to those types of that particular niche, if you have a particular personal hygiene brand, a lot of times people don't deviate too much around what they're using. If they know something is good for them, they like it, they like the scent, they like the product as a whole, they're usually not going to just 1 month buy this type of soap, the next month buy this type. That usually doesn't happen.
Yeah,
So I can see how that really would work for those
absolutely.
types of brands. Now, how would you say the approach to Amazon marketing is differs for a D2C brand compared to just a regular traditional retail brand? Is it different?
I wouldn't say differs too much, but the D2C brands have the upper hand. I would say in the sense that if your products are currently trending and you're pushing people to your website in general, no matter how you're driving the traffic, you're going to have that, depending on the volumes that you have, but people are going to there are some Amazon specific clients, let's say, so they're never going to purchase the product off your website no matter how much you promote to them. So as soon as you get your product on Amazon, people are going to start buying your product because they have already heard about it, you've already promoted it to them, whatever. So
Right.
you're not starting from scratch. This is very important, and it helps us out as well as an agency to bring you to those big numbers because, okay, in the beginning you can start with some 10-12% of what you're doing on your website, which is still great
Right.
for a start, but then you need to push a lot and apply different strategies and tactics to get it to like 60, 70, 80, 100% at some point.
Mhm.
uh, but no, it's not that different, I would say.
Okay.
Just about the interest. So
Mhm.
you have ready clients already as soon as you launch, which is,
Okay.
you know, the multi-channel strategy basically works extremely well. And I've been meeting people that have been very hesitant to go on Amazon. They're like, are people really
Sure.
making money on Amazon? I don't know how it works. I'd better focus on my website. And that is true
Right.
for the most part. But if you have
Sure.
a trusted partner and you can start, just very easily, I
Mhm.
suggest you go for it. And if you've already, kind of established yourself by running traffic to your website,
Okay. That
it's
that
gonna
makes
be
sense.
yeah, it's gonna be a great additional channel for all D2C brands, to be honest.
Okay. Okay. You mentioned all D2C brands, and of course, like you said, you've a lot of times been approached by brands that are, you know, maybe a little bit hesitant to say, okay, you know, shouldn't we just focus everything on our own website rather than, you know, diverting traffic and sales through Amazon? In your history of what you've been doing at your particular company, has there been, or just in your general knowledge, have there been any case where you've seen a brand, maybe they've approached you or that just you know about in general, where Amazon just is not a good fit at all?
Yeah,
Is
that's a
there any
great
particular?
question. That's a great
Mhm.
question. As a rule of thumb, first, I would suggest that your brand is generating at least 253 $300,000 a month in revenue
Okay.
in
Okay.
order for you to, take the leap and expand to Amazon.
Okay.
Definitely before that, just underprepared. Maybe you haven't done everything possible for your website traffic.
Hmm.
And another thing I would say is if you are a CBD related product, I would stay away from Amazon as it's extremely
Okay.
difficult to push it these days. Also, if you
Sure.
have bulky products or just clothing and apparel that is not very unique and specific in terms of what it offers, I would
Okay.
also stay away from Amazon because it's just trickier to push these
Hmm.
products on Amazon and people don't go for them on Amazon. So basically, if you have some high-end clothing brand, definitely Amazon is not your platform. People go
Okay.
on Amazon more for products that they need right
Yeah.
now. They have any kind of need for it, and they're going to come back for it, and they just want to solve their problems quickly
Hmm.
in general. They wouldn't go and buy Dior or Versace or whatever out of Amazon,
Right.
or
Right.
super expensive brands in general. I'm not saying they're not
Okay.
making any sales. Of course,
Sure.
there's some random people that are going to buy anything from anywhere, but still in general,
Sure.
it's not your channel.
Okay. Yeah, that I understand that. That makes sense. With those high end brands, yeah, I mean that's just not the audience for them per se. I mean, people that are purchasing those high end brands, they're either going to the physical locations themselves or they're going directly to those brands' websites because there's a specific need that they have, and they know where they can get that and get that need fulfilled. Now, let's imagine there's a D2C brand that's, let's say, on Amazon. Maybe they've just started, got into the whole Amazon ecosystem, but they're struggling to get any traction, which I know can be the case for a lot of brands that first get on there. What would you say would be the first steps to turning things around for them?
They should definitely focus on reviews at first. This is the
Okay.
first thing because imagine, you come to Amazon and one product has 5,000 reviews, the other has three.
Yeah,
Even if
yeah.
even if it looks great and it completely matches what you're looking for, you're always going to play it safe and buy the one
Okay.
with 5,000 reviews. So
Right.
you need to start off with at least like 300,000 reviews, which is going to,
Okay.
bring trustworthiness to your product and your brand, and people
Okay.
will be more likely to purchase your product, even compared
Okay.
to some 5, 10,000 review brands if your
Okay.
brand is fulfilling their needs better than the other ones. But
Okay.
you need to focus on that in the beginning. And what we do is we set evergreen campaigns for just pushing people a little bit so that they
Hmm.
can leave more reviews because the the regular Amazon review rates are really low. They're anywhere between 0.5% and 2%. So
Hmm.
we're striving to push it to 6, 7, 8, and sometimes 10%, which is much better.
Hmm.
But yeah, this is definitely the first thing you should be focusing on. You need to focus on having an amazing main image. You need to have well optimized listings overall. You need to start try and unlock the premium A plus page as soon as you can. This is also something very important, and you need to set up your Amazon PPC correctly. Of course, explore some keywords. For people that are not familiar with Amazon, it's very similar to Google, I would say, because it's
Hmm.
keyword driven. So you need to find those perfect keyword for your product, brand, whatever,
Hmm.
that people, when they land on it, they associate with that product and they're more likely to buy it. So it has a higher purchase intent compared to just searching it in the Amazon bar, because that's a different thing. They might be, just exploring, but you need to find the keywords that have a higher purchase intent.
Sure. Yeah, makes sense. The I totally agree with the reviews. That's should be a first thing that they want to look at, because I just know from my personal experience that's first thing that I look at. That's first thing most consumers do look at are those reviews. Now, is there a fine line between having too many 5-star reviews, maybe 5 and 4 star reviews, and not enough of the lower reviews? I'll give you an example. There's sometimes I come across a brand where they'll have they may not have 1,000, like you said, 1,000, 3,000 reviews, but maybe they'll have about, I would say, a little less than 1,000 reviews, and the majority of them are 5-star. And they'll have, maybe, if they have any lower reviews, maybe they'll have a 1%, if that, 1-star review. And sometimes I've seen brands where they don't even have any of the lower reviews. It's really only 5 and 4 star. Personally, when I come across this, and I don't know if this is something that most consumers think about, is I get a little bit leery when I don't see some of the lower reviews, or when I see too many 5-star reviews, and let's say no 4 stars, no other reviews, everything 5-star. I'm just questioning the validity of it. What's your take on that?
I'd say most consumers are not thinking about it,
Okay.
but there's definitely, let's say, a top tier of consumers which are noticing it. So
Yep.
definitely, if you have genuine reviews on your
Yeah.
listing, like 99% of the time, you're going to have some bad ones as well. I mean,
Right. Exactly.
you
Exactly.
you cannot be perfect. I mean, no product is perfect, or people just
Mhm.
have random personal experiences that sometimes don't
Mhm.
make any sense and don't have anything to do with your product, to be honest. Fortunately, on
Right.
Amazon, you can always reach out to Amazon and say, hey, this has nothing to do with my product. Could you please remove that review? And many of the
Okay.
times it works, actually. So the
Okay.
reviews on Amazon, they need to be specifically about the product and the quality
Mhm.
of the product, and etc. So if you're talking about delivery or some random stuff or personal
Okay.
experiences that have nothing to do with the quality and the function of the product, you are allowed to remove it from
Okay.
Amazon.
Okay. Well, that's good to know, because I can imagine there's cases where people, get disgruntled about a variety of things, and they could be just upset at a brand in general, or even could be a competitor of a brand just trying to discredit them. So it's good
Yeah,
to know that
it's common,
Amazon.
especially
Okay. Yeah,
Chinese sellers, they could be
really,
very,
right.
very aggressive. Many people
Okay.
don't know that, but right now, I'd say definitely more than 70% of Amazon is owned by Chinese sellers. I mean, it's flooded.
Really well.
They're
Wow.
everywhere.
Okay.
So for the most part, it's Chinese sellers. And they're
Okay.
very, very strong. You literally cannot do anything about it. They
Right.
have people that work directly in Amazon, and they ask them for to give them a hand with some stuff which are
Okay.
completely black hat, and
Oh
but
wow.
but this happens, and Amazon have been trying to deal with it, but their biggest
Hmm.
mistake was opening an Amazon branch in China, to be
Really?
honest,
Yeah. Yeah.
because like they catch people, they fire them, and the new ones are
Okay.
just the same. So there's
I
there's like
see.
there's like no difference.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
it could be tricky. It could be tricky,
Yeah.
but and what I would say is the way to fight these Chinese is to have a cool brand, unique looking product with unique functionality, but the overall feel and look of the brand and the way the brand speaks to the audience needs to be um, interesting, unique, different, and more Western, let's say,
Hmm.
even, because this is what makes the difference at the end of the day. Because Chinese, they're very pragmatic, they're very good at
Yeah.
launching products quickly. But but usually the brands, the copy, and many other things are far from perfect. So
Yes.
th- these are one of the very few things you can be better at
Hmm.
than the
Right.
Chinese. So you better utilize it.
Yeah, yeah, I can definitely see that. And yeah, I was recently made aware of these brands, and I think most of them coming from China, is these alphabet soup brands. I don't know if you're familiar with it, where they'll take random letters. They'll come up with a similar brand as one of their competitors, and they'll just come up with random letters and put that as the part of the brand name. But it's very similar to
Yeah.
some competitors that are in the same space, but they're doing that to try to drive traffic to their brands. But they'll register all of these different alphabet soup brands that are like, XYZ, um,
Adidas.
XYZ. Yeah,
Adidas.
yeah, exactly. They'll just mix up the letters. It's similar to a real brand, but they'll throw in some other unique letters, and then
Yeah, they do
it's
that.
similar to a real brand, but they get away with it. Yeah, a few times before I knew about this, I've seen brands and I've even ordered products, and I'm like, what are these? What's this random? What are these random letters? And they're typically all capital letters. I'm like, what does that have to do with the brand? But now I understand. They're just flooding it with all of these similar brands, but it's typically maybe one or a few brand owners that are just doing this for across a lot of different
Oh,
niches. So
they do it. They're
yeah,
very, very strong. They act
yeah,
quickly, they have money,
yeah.
they're very organized, and there's lots
Mhm.
of them. So,
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Um, so for a D2C brand that's really just starting out, what would be your long term piece of advice for them to achieve success if they're in it for the long game?
well, focus on the basics again for starters. It's very important. So this is gonna be the reviews, ranking your
Hmm.
product to the top positions, having a well-written copy according to Amazon's SEO, etc. Of course, these are the most important things. Have a proper main image and stuff like that. But then I would say if you're not working with an agency, approach it with the strong suits that you have. So basically, let's say if you're using influencers or have a product that has gone viral on TikTok, what you can do is make a badge viral
Okay.
on TikTok on your website or as seen on social media badge. And on Amazon,
Yeah.
you can create a headline with an image that contains the same creative. So a lot of
Okay.
times, Amazon's filters allow text to be written in the image itself,
Okay.
which is going to help you promote that. But basically, think outside of the box according to what you are good at. Don't try to beat Amazon sellers at their game. Is
Mhm.
what I'm trying to say. Just try to approach it from an angle that you're already familiar with, no matter if
Okay.
that's influencers. Or another cool thing people can do is you can build a network of websites around your niche. Let's say we
Okay.
have clients which have built a network of websites with different topics around their niche, and they rank them very well on Google. And this way they get a lot of organic SEO traffic. So what's the twist? All ads inside lead to their Amazon products via brand referral links.
Hmm.
So they get tons of sales first, and second, they get 10% back from the brand referral bonus by
Oh
being
wow.
their own affiliates, basically.
Okay.
So this
I
is a very
see.
smart strategy. So again,
Interesting.
approach it from your D2C driving traffic angle and what you are
Hmm.
good at. And again,
Okay.
the other option is just to work with an agency that's proficient and they know what they're doing so they can boost you up much quicker because there's also a lot of administration and bureaucracy that people don't think about. Amazon suspending your listings, giving you a hard
Yep.
time opening an account itself, and stuff like that that people think are going to be a walk in the park, but they are not.
Yeah. Exactly. I can imagine. And of course, as we get ready to wrap things up, I know you've seen it all because you're an agency, and I know you get approached by brands that are on Amazon. They're just trying to improve things or really trying to optimize their presence. From what you've seen, what are some common mistakes that you've seen brands make on Amazon, and how would they avoid some of these pitfalls?
They underestimate it. They underestimate the process of opening an account, first of all, because
Okay.
if you mess up opening your account, it's something that literally takes 10 minutes. But if you mess it up,
Yeah.
you know, it's a limbo of 5, 6 months down the road and you still don't
Oh,
have your
wow.
account opened.
Oh,
So
wow.
you need to be very punctual when providing the documents and information that Amazon is requesting for you. It
Okay.
sounds stupid, but it's just really be careful.
Okay.
Um, Overall, again, underestimation of the platform. They think that when they're coming from an e-com background, they are going to understand Amazon fairly quick. I mean, this couldn't be
Mhm.
further from the truth. Amazon is a beast of its own. It's very different than other platforms. It's very clunky. It's very slow. Many things don't make sense. So you need to be familiar with Amazon, and you need to know the game to play it,
I
basically.
see.
Um, what else? What else? They could make tons of mistakes even by shipping their products
Hmm.
with wrong labels or with packaging that Amazon is not accepting, or you know, honestly, mistakes like that are the most common compared to some other, I don't know, marketing mistakes. They would make a mistake on the little things,
Hmm.
like logistics and packaging and registering an account and optimizing their listing for SEO. Many brands are going to just put their copy from their website on Amazon, but this doesn't work because
Right.
they haven't included the keywords that Amazon is giving you juice for.
Mm.
So this is also a very, very common mistake. Um, yeah, I can wrap it up with that.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And yeah, those are definitely up some really key things that I can see would trip people up. And I wasn't aware of the fact that yeah, that sign up part is so critical. If you kind of miss a step, you don't get them the documentation at the right time. I guess they kind of put you into almost like a blacklist where they just slow
Oh,
everything
it's
down
it's
for your approval.
it's crazy. And these days, even if you've been registered for years, right
Yes.
now, believe it or not, on all of our accounts, every
Hmm.
month they ask us for something. Doesn't make
Oh
sense. They're like,
wow.
give us that
Mm.
document. And we're like, we've already provided that document like 5 times,
Mm.
but they're
Mm.
still asking for it. So
Mm.
you need to, get the document, give them an updated version of the document. Then the next month
Mm.
they're going to ask for something else. And they're literally doing it all the time. They want to make
Wow.
sure that real people, real sellers that understand what they're doing are sitting behind these accounts and not just
I see.
bots or some Chinese that don't know what they're doing. So this is kind of
Gotcha.
their way to vet the accounts. Unfortunately, Chinese are
Mm.
very good at playing that game. So at some
Okay.
point, it kind of has the opposite effect because people that are just going to Amazon as first time sellers and are not
Hmm.
familiar with these things, they're going to have a very hard time compared to the Chinese that, they've been asked for these documents for a thousand times. So
Right.
it kind of has the opposite effect at some point, to be
I
honest, in
see.
my opinion. The barrier needs to be easier, lower, but it's not.
Hmm.
I mean, these days it's actually Amazon are making it super difficult for sellers
Mm.
to just do what they have to do
Mm.
and like launch new products and focus on that. They're
Yeah.
they're they're being a pain in the ass.
Mm. To say it bluntly, yeah, I can see that. Well, yeah, that's interesting, and I can see how. I mean, I see their point of view as far as what you said, being able to have a way to flush out all of these people that are just not serious. Maybe these are bots that are putting out these listings and doing that. Yeah, you do have to have a way to um, kind of filter out kind of the weeds and the garbage. But yeah, you don't want to do that at the expense of real sellers that are, real people behind
Yeah.
the screens really putting in the work. It doesn't seem fair to the majority of the sellers there. So yeah, it does seem like they need a better way to vet out some of the garbage. But we'll see. We'll see what happens over time. Does that change? But you never know. Um, well, Hristo, this has been an awesome conversation, and thank you for sharing all of this. I've definitely learned a lot. I always learn a lot about Amazon because things are always changing, and it's good to know that there's agencies such as yours that can help guide D2C brands to, the right direction. But lastly, before we do let you go, I always like to close things out with closing fun fact, if you don't mind sharing a closing fun fact about yourself that you think we'd be interested to know.
Okay. Let me think about it. Around fourth to like grade to high school, I was a chubby kid, so
Okay.
I could eat 2 pizzas, like
Oh,
family
wow.
pizzas, like two
Okay.
family pizzas,
Okay.
on a sit down. Yeah,
Gotcha.
it was interesting times. But,
Okay. Gotcha.
but then I got into sports, and things started looking better for me.
Okay. Okay. Well,
So
that sounds
don't
sounds
don't
good.
don't let your kids be fat or chubby. It's on you. You need to help them out.
Yeah.
Like eat properly, take care of
Mm,
themselves, work out. So it's on
mm.
the parents. It's
Yeah.
actually not kids' fault.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm not a parent myself, but I see it all the time. And you can just see it just in the day-to-day life, whether you're in the US or they're in Europe. I'm sure you see it all the time. You'll see the parent and you obviously or maybe overweight, obese, obviously may not have the proper health, um, uh, following the quite health guidelines and just eating whatever. And
Yeah.
typically the children are the same. You'll see the children that'll be overweight as well. So it's the
No,
parents that usually do set
that's
the
not
example.
that's not healthy. And I honestly
Yeah, it isn't.
don't think this movement of the plus size model is healthy for
Yeah,
people.
it
It's
isn't.
just not taking care of yourself. That's what it is, and people
Exactly.
need to see it as what it is. You need to be
Yeah,
healthy and
mhm.
taking care of yourself, and this
Yeah,
results in something
mhm.
at the end of the day.
Exactly. I totally agree. Yeah, that total plus size movement. I think it's more. It was more of a marketing scheme by a lot of these brands to be able to widen their base of customers
Yeah,
by
for
trying to
sure.
be quote unquote inclusive of
Inclusive.
all yeah, all shapes and sizes. But at the end of the day, like you said, healthy is healthy, and it's there's of course a lot of factors to having too much fat on your body, a lot of negative factors to that as far as your heart and just a lot of
Absolutely.
things. So it's
Yeah.
just
It's not
you
just
can't
it's
really.
not just the visuals, It's not it's not the
Yeah,
appearance.
exactly. Exactly. There's a lot internal things. So yeah, you can't really argue the science behind that.
Hmm.
Being overweight. So I totally agree with you on that. Well, this has been awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And but lastly, Hristo, before we let you go, what's the best way for our listeners and viewers to reach you if they want to pick your brain any more about Amazon?
Sure, they can visit our website, hyperzone.io. This is hyperzon.io. Or they can always ping me on my Instagram as well, Chris R Ventures, and
Mhm.
I'll be happy to answer all of their questions.
Okay. Awesome, Hristo. Well, thank you for sharing that. I'll definitely have the link to your website in our show notes so people can reach out to you and see how you and your brand can help them out. Well, it's been an awesome conversation, Hristo. We really appreciate you coming on the E-commerce Marketing Podcast.
Thank you, Arlen. Hope to see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the E-commerce Marketing Podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and share it with everyone you know. Are you looking to take your digital marketing to the next level but are tired of weeding through countless YouTube videos with unproven and untrusted marketing strategies? Well, we have the answer for you. The More Sales Every Month online digital marketing course. In this information-packed course, you will learn effective keyword research, link building, content marketing, and much more to attract and convert your site visitors into paying customers. Just go to moresaleseverymonth.com and sign up today for a low one-time fee. In addition to this power-packed course, if you would like to get access to a growing repository of digital marketing articles, PDFs, and ebooks, check out getosi.com/resources and opt in to get full access to our library of priceless marketing information to help you take your digital marketing to the next level.